Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. In this video I wanted to talk about Elgato Gaming's brand new product, the Keylight. Most of you probably know that Elgato has been a sponsor here on the channel for about 2.5 years now, and they make everything from capture cards, green screens and stream decks to help out streamers and content creators. And when I talked to them last year, they asked me if there was anything around streaming and content creation that I felt that I needed or didn't currently like, and the first thing I brought up was how much I hated my current stream lights. They were bulky, ugly, had no customization, and most importantly turned my room into an oven when I streamed due to all the heat they generated. And they then told me that they're actually working on something that will fix that. So as you can imagine, I got pretty excited when they told me about the Keylight, and now half a year later I finally got my hands on it and wanted to give you a rundown of how it works and what I think about it. So the Elgato Keylight is basically the perfect studio lights for a streamer. Powerful LEDs that you can customize to your liking, both in terms of brightness and color. On top of that, they have a very slick form factor as they clamp onto your desk, meaning that you don't need any bulky stand that will take up floor space, and similarly, which to me was a big win as I've got my streaming setup in the living room, and getting rid of those big light stands did free up a lot of space. They're also controlled wirelessly, which means that the only cable you need is the power cable, and you can then control the lights from your PC with the new Control Center app. And of course, if you have an Elgato Stream Deck like myself, you can also control it from there and make your own presets for the brightness and colors, as well as simply turning it on and off. For instance, I've added the Keylight to my Start Stream multi-action, which means that right now when I start a stream it will switch to the correct scene, change my Twitter handle, start streaming, start recording, as well as turning on my Keylight and setting it to the right brightness, all with the click of one button. And I think that kind of highlights Elgato's products overall, making stuff so much easier and more efficient for streamers and content creators. As much as this might be a special use case, I actually found it to be a good light for my living room overall, as the IKEA lamp I have is pretty weak. So I simply turned around the Keylight and set it to a low brightness with a yellow tone, and suddenly it still had the living room feel but gave me enough light to actually read or do stuff that requires a bit of light. Living room lighting is not really what the Keylight was made for, but I just found it to be an extra use for me personally, which is why I wanted to bring it up. The lights somehow generate close to no heat, and even after extensive use you can only feel a slight heat from the back of the panel, which for me is really important as I can't get a proper air conditioner installed in my apartment, which meant that these summer months were an absolute pain to stream due to how hot my room got from my previous lights. I also wanted to mention here that although you only see one Keylight in the video, I'd still recommend using two if you have a green screen setup, as you will always get a shadow behind you if you don't have 2 points of light, no matter what lights you use. So I will be adding another Keylight to my setup shortly after this video. In terms of setting it up, there's not actually too much to say because it's very straightforward. Out of the box you simply screw on the Keylight to the pole, or take off the multi-angle mount and screw it straight to the Keylight, and then attach that pole to the table and plug in the power. In terms of pairing, you need some device that has Wi-Fi, such as a mobile phone or a laptop, to initially set it up. I personally used my Android phone to set it up, and once you've done the actual setup you can access the Keylight from any computer on your network, so I control it via my Stream Deck that is plugged into my streaming PC that does not have Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi is only required for the initial setup. They do also have an iOS app that might be out when this video goes live, otherwise shortly after, that allows you to actually control the Keylight straight from your phone as well. And the Keylight comes in at around $200 in euro or 180 British pounds. Overall, I've mostly gone over my use case for the Keylight in this video and probably how most streamers would use it, but as you can imagine there's plenty of other ways you can use these lights, whether you make tech review videos or something completely else. And I also noticed that when you switch to the more yellowish light you get a very nice and natural look as compared to the brighter white light, which is better for green screens but does not look as natural. So you can tweak that to your liking and situation, which is very nice. But I think that wraps up my thoughts on the Elgato Keylight and how I'm currently using it. I'm always so happy when I can work with Elgato on something like this, as it's products that you as a creator genuinely love to see. Every time I chat with them they have these great ideas for how to make my streaming life easier, and the Keylight is one example of this. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the force be with you.